to the state?
I have a house there, but I'm doing something. My brother has been killed.
So I'll start us with a karakia. So, kia karakia tātou. Pāua uta, pāua tai. Pāua tua o te kāinga. Tuia ki te rangi, tuia ki te pāpa. Tuia ki te ira ātua, te ira tāngata. Pāua ki uta, pāua ki tai. Ka rongo te pō, ka rongo te ao. Kia pono, kia tika, kia aroha, kia tau i ho mai ngā manakitanga, ki ronga i a tātou. Haumi e, hui e, tai. Kia ora, Jan. We're just going to do a little bit of moving around just to accommodate the people that are in the shade. We just want to acknowledge before we start the rally, we just want to acknowledge that we are standing on colonized land, on Ngāti Whātua land, so we acknowledge the Tangata Whenua, the people of the land. We welcome all the participants, we welcome all of you here again. Thank you for coming, thank you for caring. I know we don't have to say that to you because you are part of that part of humanity that is out here to show that you do care and there's a lot to care for. The theme of the rally today is Raise Your Voice for Palestine, and we ask you to ask others during this Christmas season to spare forward for the children, for the women, for the men, for all the Palestinians who lay in the genocide rubble as we speak. Okay? We have had a few agitators for the past few weeks, so we ask you not to engage them, we ask you not to talk and try to get sucked in by the agitation. So just report it to the table. Don't think we need any marshals today. So yeah, just report that to the table. So we will have a recital of the Quran, followed by the national anthem of Palestine. I think we have a recording.
Merciful,
To those against whom war is made, permission is given to fight, because they are wronged. And verily, Allah is most powerful for their aid. They are those who have been expelled from their homes in defiance of right for no cause, except that they say, our Lord is Allah. Had not Allah checked one set of people by means of another, there would surely have been pulled down monasteries, churches, synagogues and mosques, in which the name of Allah is commemorated in abundant measure. Allah will certainly aid those who aid His cause, for verily, Allah is full of strength, exalted in might, able to enforce His rule. They are those who, if we establish them in the land, establish regular prayer and give regular charity, enjoin the right and forbid wrong. With Allah rests the end and decision of all affairs.
Jazakallah, shukran Neil. We will play the Palestinian national anthem now. Before we start, I'll be your co-MC today. I just want to start with a little bit of a reflection. Yesterday we ended our school year. I'm a primary school teacher, and we just wanted to think about, reflect about what is happening in Gaza at the moment, what has happened with most or all of the school bomb. Gaza, the United Nations described Gaza as a graveyard for children. The racist apartheid Zionist, genocidal Israeli Zionist regime has killed 70,400 children, one child every 30 minutes. Shame! And to add to that, thousands are missing under the rubble. Of that figure, 710 babies, that's below 1 year old. Shame! 1,793 toddlers, 1 to 3 years old. Shame! 1,205 preschool children, 4 to 5 years old. Shame! 4,205 primary school children, 6 to 12 years old. 3,442 high school children, 13 to 17 years old. To add to that, more than 17,000 children in Palestine has lost one or both parents. Shame! Those figures are just tragic, they're upsetting. To introduce our first speaker, it will be Barry Lee. Please welcome Barry to the microphone. Barry will update us on events in Palestine over the past week and the coming weeks. This is important as we are entering the festive season and most people will be leaving, so please take note of where you can support. And then afterwards we will observe a minute's silence for
sorry, Neil's doing the upcoming events. I'll just spell out the statistics that Auckland mentioned. These are casualties to date. It's from a United Nations human rights organisation. In Palestine, there are now 44,786 killed. West Bank is more than 968. And these are the figures that are recorded in Gaza by the health organisations, so they're actually bodies that are recorded. There's more than 106,018 people injured, and missing are more than 11,000. Included in the casualties, the Israelis have killed 685 medics, 333 UN staff, 137 journalists, all of which are classed as war crimes. And I must say that I hear that on 8 o'clock Radio New Zealand this morning, it was reported that the Israelis had murdered the last surgeon in Gaza. So in Lebanon, there's a total of 4,047 killed. That goes back a bit since the ground invasion, 2,967 killed and 16,638 injured. And we don't have any figures for Syria, but the Israelis are still bombing Syria, which is a sovereign nation, and according to US officials, the Israelis are justified in doing because they are preventing a possible threat. So you don't have the right to go and bomb somebody else's country because they might be a threat. And finally, that's what talking about a ceasefire and a peace deal. And I think the Americans have been talking about this for ages. Nothing's eventuated, and they're still giving the Israelis the bombs to carry on the genocide. I think it's more for public consumption to try and disarm the movements around the world like us, and this leads those governments that are taking a stand against it. So we have to keep pressure on our government to make a proper stand, and they can vote for UN resolutions. Now, Dan, will do something. There's no good voting for it. Thank you.
Witnesses have been silent to honor those who have lost their lives or suffered or are suffering in Palestine, Lebanon, and Syria. Every time. Thank you. I'd like to welcome to the right of Captain Walsh, who will be doing some of the emceeing today.
Very Palestinian people, it's the genocide in Gaza, it's just a small this is Palestine.
Government to act on Gaza.
If you're going to law, this is where Sure. Yeah. How did I get this?
Lived experience that you have, but I am here to express solidarity, and I think that's a very important thing. It may not change everything, but it is an important part of the struggle. My second question is about what is happening in the Middle East, but in particular in Gaza at the moment. As you know, the ICJ released an advisory opinion. It was a landmark advisory opinion on the 19th of July 2024. You can read it online. It's quite lengthy. But for the very first time, the International Court of Justice said that the Israeli occupation of Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem is unlawful. It is an unlawful occupation, and the ICJ called on it to end within 12 months. But it did something else. It also said that governments, states like us, have an obligation. We cannot stand by and wait for this to happen. We have an obligation not to aid or abet the continuing unlawful occupation. And that is really the main thing that I want to talk about today. It is what New Zealand can do about the situation. Before I get on to the points that what I think the government can do, I just want to say something about Syria, which is free Syria. Have a fingernail to celebrate the freedom of Syria. Allahu Akbar. It's a great day for Syria. I've been to Syria 5 times, and to see them topple the Assad regime after 53 years is a truly remarkable achievement. And I want to say to all the Palestinians, you can take heart from that. I know you've been suffering longer than 53 years, I know that. But I never thought the day would come when the Assad regime would run away to Russia, and it's done. And a new day has dawned in Syria. A new day will dawn one day in Palestine too, inshallah. As you also know, the International Criminal Court has recently issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and the former Defence Minister Yoav Gallant. So one of yes, it's a win, and something I didn't think would happen. But what you have to be aware of is that the ICC is being threatened. The individuals are being threatened, and the court itself is being threatened mainly by the United States. Personal threats to the judges, to the prosecutor Karim Khan. So you need to be vocal, and you need to talk to people over the summer about how important that work is. Just to get the warrants issued was a major achievement. The next thing is to get them on trial in The Hague. So I hope I live to see that day too. Another lesson to come from the Syrian experience is that Israel would take advantage of any situation. Israel has been bombing Gaza, as you know. They have almost flattened the Gaza Strip, and that is part of their plan, I think you can argue. But they've also been intervening in Lebanon in breach of Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the UN Charter, which says that you cannot use force against the sovereign territory of another state. And now they're doing it in Syria as well. They're bombing Syria and taking territory, and they said it's temporary. But I want to put it to you that usually when they take territory, they don't give it back soon. Okay. That's right. So some of my ideas for what the government can do are as follows. First of all, we can stop arming Israel. 99% of military armaments come from Germany and the USA. If they stop the arms, you can't bomb anybody. So we need to make a call. This government needs to make a call and put pressure on the US and Germany to stop sending arms to Israel. They know the arms are being used to kill children and women. 70% of victims in that conflict are women and children. The arms need to stop now. The second thing our government can do is to recognise the state of Palestine. For God's sake, 146 states have already recognised Palestine. What are we waiting for in New Zealand? What are we waiting for? That is a question for this government. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for Israel to say it's okay to recognise Palestine? Because that is not a requirement in international law. There is criteria for statehood in the Montevideo Convention. There's 4 criteria, and Palestine meets all of them. And that's why 146 states have already recognised Palestine. New Zealand, shame on you. We need to recognise Palestine now. The third thing we can definitely do is to show that we still care about the rule of law and international law by supporting South Africa's case at the ICJ. Why are we not supporting South Africa's case? There are about 58 states supporting that case of genocide, and New Zealand is not one of them. This is unbelievable. Thank you. I'm running out of time. My phone is going off. That means I'm running short of time. So a couple of things I would also like this government to consider is to open up a special visa for people of Gaza and the West Bank, quite frankly, if they need to come here. Just like they did for Ukraine. I would like this government to consider universal jurisdiction. We can get war criminals by using our laws on universal jurisdiction. Lots of countries in Europe are doing this right now. The Netherlands, France, Sweden, Germany, Belgium. They are taking the law into their own hands by prosecuting war criminals for crimes against humanity and war crimes. We can send a signal by saying we will do the same thing here in New Zealand. And my final plea to this government is to consider stopping Israeli tourists from coming here after they've finished their IDF service. I did some work on the figures, and there are about 3,000 people coming here on visitors' visas every year. We do know that about 75,000 Israelis leave the IDF each year, and they like to go abroad for a holiday. I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to share the beach or a walking track with somebody who has just been committing war crimes in Gaza. I'm going to wrap up with a quote from somebody I read online. About 250 Spanish cultural heroes, including film directors, sent a letter to the Spanish government saying, you must do more. You must stop exporting anything through Spain to Israel. And their letter ended with this statement, which I'm going to finish with today. These intellectuals and cultural heroes said, history will judge us by our actions at critical moments like this. Let us put an end to this horror. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Raja! على أرض بلادي! Raja! على حق وياك! Raja! على قدس عكا! Raja! على قدس عكا! Raja! على راجع! Raja! على Palestine will be free. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided.
Kia ora. You guys are in for something, the next sensation, and that is I'd like to introduce my friend and neighbour, Audrey Van Ryn. Now, Audrey has lived in Auckland City for 53 years. She's well known and loved in our inner city community as our resident activist. A few examples of her work was the Nuclear-Free New Zealand, particularly keeping the warships out of the harbours, anti-smoking, anti-gambling, anti-alcohol harm, anti-mining, saving historic buildings and sites, saving trees, freeing political prisoners, anti-Iraq war, and Ukraine and Gaza. She's worked with my sister, Laurie Ross, campaigning to make Auckland a peace city in 2011. Audrey worked for Gaza in 2009 with the United Nations protesting the conflict, and her husband Chris joined Kia Ora Gaza, a team that travelled from London to Gaza across on a land convoy in 2010. Currently, Audrey is founder and secretary of the charitable trust community groups Feeding the Homeless, which began about 2019, 5 years ago, and she also does a 3-day fast for peace and anti-nuclear every year. It's worldwide, but Audrey's the only one in New Zealand that does it, and that's the 6th and the 9th of August. It starts on Hiroshima Day and finishes on Nagasaki Day. Audrey is a regular at these rallies for Gaza, and I'm going to ask her a very important question now, which she will answer for you. The question is, Audrey, what would you like our government to do to alleviate the current suffering and genocide in Gaza and bring peace to the region?
Kia ora, salam alaikum. Kathy asked me to speak. I said I'd rather play my flute, but I need to answer her question. I'm pleased that our government supports the ceasefire that the UN has called for, but the ceasefire is not happening. So I would like our government to speak out strongly, repeatedly, in support of a ceasefire, and to condemn Israel for continuing the genocide. I'm pleased that our Prime Minister has said that if Netanyahu or Gallant comes to New Zealand, they would be arrested for crimes against humanity and war crimes. It follows that our government should refuse visas for Israelis who have been serving in the Israeli Defence Force during the last year, committing these very crimes. With the recent Amnesty International report that calls the Israeli attacks on Gaza genocide, as has the United Nations and the International Court of Justice, our government should immediately issue humanitarian visas for Palestinians, as well as denying them to Israelis who have served in the IDF. So I'll play 2 peace songs for you. The first one is Blowing in the Wind. And the words in that song that I think are very relevant are, how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? How many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The second song is more positive. It's We Shall Overcome. And the words that I like in it are, we shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday.
Excuse me.
Kia ora, Audrey, and thank you to our audience for being so patient in between. I have the pleasure to welcome our fourth speaker, which is Kathy Ross, and it's a personal project to support families in Gaza. That is what she will cover.
Okay, I'll be very quick because I know that it's a long, hot afternoon, but I'm just blown away by the two wonderful speakers that we've just had, and I know that you'll be all inspired as well. So this is my own little project. We rally here to pressure our government into recognition of what's happening in Gaza and to take actions against it. But change is slow. Yet every day, innocent families in Gaza are suffering genocidal atrocities of a brutal war. Grief and deprivation reigns as normal in Gaza. The living, breathing people left alive in Gaza think that the world has forgotten them. To address this, I've started a Facebook page to collect up all the campaigns that I've verified and donated to myself. In order to go onto this page and receive my small donation, I FaceTime with each and every recipient. I look around, they show me around their house, outside, I meet members of the family, and after asking lots of questions, such as where in Gaza they are located and how many in their family and how do they receive their funds, in many cases, they tell me that I'm the first person who has taken an interest in their plight and replied to them. Mostly, they experience rejection. I can understand that too, because early on, I've been scammed. So I've started a Facebook page called Families in Gaza, and I'd like you to go there sometime and at least like it, if not, share it and donate on it. It's authentic. Everyone on there is authentically FaceTimed with me, and I've spoken to them. So it's a small bit, and if you can and you have the time, definitely engage in these families, because mostly people are going delete, delete, delete. And I can understand that, but I think that there's also a very good way that we can decolonize the social media space and talk to these people that are being rejected every day, because change of the government takes a long time. And although higher ideals are wonderful, there's people that are suffering a day-to-day life in Gaza right now. I just got sent a sound piece of the rain pouring down in Gaza, pouring down on people that are living in tents and already deprived of life's necessities. So keep that in mind. Friend the page and take a look at some of the people there. If you want, you can FaceTime yourself or just message them. They'll love to hear from you. Thank you.
Kia ora whanau. Our next speaker is Whaia Leanne Wahanui Peters. I think Whaia is engaged in kōrero over there. So Whaia will enlighten us on what we can do in these holidays, but if Whaia is too busy, I will just reflect on something. No, I think she's coming. Whanau, Whaia Leanne Wainui Peters, just to tell us what we can do over these festive season in terms of supporting and showing solidarity with the Palestinian cause.
Kia ora koutou katoa. So just a reminder, 7th of January, e te whānau. 7th of January 2025, we must get our submissions in for Kill the Bill. All right, we need to kill the bill. Who went on the hikoi? Hands up. Okay, who's done their submissions? Okay, so some of us have got some mahi to do, mahi tahi. Action Station is a good port of call. I went on that, they had a party. It was a party. I mean, it was fantastic. People asking all pātai about the te tiriti. We had people like Tina Nata. Tina Nata is the expert on all things te tiriti e te whānau, and she's such a humble, wonderful person. So please whānau, 7th of January, we need to keep that at the forefront of our minds, as well as our Palestinian e te whānau, because we're all in the same boat. We've got to stand up for our Indigenous rights. Okay, kia ora koutou.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
I forgot my, yeah. Kia ora.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! The people united will never be divided. 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 Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your bloody war. 4, 5, 7. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your bloody war. 4, 5, 7, 8. Stop the killing, stop the hate. Woo!
Kia ora alu. It's been a long school term, everyone. It's been a long school term. Well done, Ali, the man. I don't know about you, but my watermelons are growing. This week when we had the downpour, I ran out and I tried to save them. Well, I did save them. But to tell us more about the watermelons project is Susan Wise. Welcome to the microphone, Susan Wise.
Kara, salam alaikum. My name is Susan. I'm what my stepchildren and my grandchildren call Crazy Plant Lady. And I'd like to acknowledge all the people that have supported it so far. I had a lovely lady, Amy, who met me in Whangaparoa yesterday, and she bought 15 plants as gifts for her co-workers with a little message from her about her support. So I'm not sure if Amy is here today, but thank you very much, Amy. Josh Jacobson, if you are here, I know that you've got a plot of land and you can plant some watermelons. So Kathy asked me to talk today and just briefly say, why did this come about? Well, like many of you, I have spent time in front of Al Jazeera, certainly not TVNZ, but in front of Al Jazeera, watching, being very distressed. I'd had a bad 18 months personally. We lost our business. My mother died after 7 months of looking after her, and I was not in a good place. And certainly watching what was happening on Gaza, in Gaza, made things and put things in perspective, but it was still very difficult and it made me really, really down. So I got to a point where I said, so many people are doing things, and I hear all the lovely stories about people that are supporting and coming in. We were coming to the rallies, and I said, I have to do more than this. So about the only thing I'm good at doing is growing plants. So I grew 300 watermelons. Now I've still got some of them. Crazy Plant Lady grew 300 watermelons. I've still got some of them. I will give them to you, and you plant them, and you give me back the watermelons in February, March, and we sell them. So one plant will generate between 3 and 5 watermelon. That's $50. Or you can buy a plant for $10 between now and the end of the day, or again in early January, because you can still plant right through January. So you can take those watermelon and you can plant them. And I'm here to tell you that this project has lifted my spirits. I don't have a lot of money. I have no money, but we have raised money for Gaza, for PSNA to do work in Gaza, and that has lifted my soul. That has lifted my spirits. I have a reason to get out of bed because I have to water the watermelons. I have to seed them. I have to plant them. I have to do all of those things. And when I get home, and tomorrow, I have to write emails to everybody that has bought them to make sure they've all got instructions on how to plant them. I love the community that it's created. I'm in one-on-one contact with people about growing. I have men that come up to me that haven't grown plants before, and they show me photos of their watermelons growing, which is fantastic. So Kathy, thank you for the invitation to talk about why I'm doing this. And if you've got any more ideas about things that Crazy Plant Lady can do, I'm all ears and happy to talk. So today's the last day I'm here before Christmas, and after that I'll be back in January. Okay? Thank you.
Kia ora. I just want to ask the Crazy Plant Lady one thing about the snails. Yeah, I have trouble keeping the snails away from my plant, but I'll ask it later on. Our next speaker is Neil, and Neil will update us on the range of activities coming up in Auckland.
Kia ora. Years ago, the Zionists in their fit of stupidity, racism, said, the Palestinian community, the old will die out and the young will forget. Do you really think that the crazy Zionists are true, that the young are going to forget? No. The young always want to bend that arc towards justice and freedom, to end the Zionist genocide in Gaza and the West Bank and in East Jerusalem, and we will remember and we will continue. So one of the successes that we've had, on Wednesday we were in Wellington, the national rally, Palestinian national rally in Wellington. We marched, we got to Parliament. Brian Tamaki, with his fit of anti-humanity racism rally, was there to greet us. They ranted and raved. The Palestinian community gave speeches. The Green Party, the Labour Party, Te Pāti Māori all spoke. Powerful, strong words calling for an end to the genocide in Gaza the end of the Israeli occupation, apartheid in Palestine. It was a strong movement, and there was a petition handed over. So that happened on Wednesday. It was I was there, it was a great time. Some of the initiatives we've got for those who actually want to do more, the end of this rally is not the end of the day or the week. Letter writing to MPs. Write your letter, bring it here, give it to us, we will copy it, and then send it on to every MP in Parliament. So write the letter, end the Israeli working holiday visa for young Israelis coming here after they have committed genocide, to sit in our squares, to sit on our public transport, to sit on our beaches. These people are war criminals. These people have been committing genocide, dropping bombs on residential buildings in Gaza, killing multiple families. Our whānau have lost tens and tens and tens of their family, children as young as 10 days old, slaughtered by Israeli bombs, proud Israeli pilots who go over gutless and drop the bombs to kill people. That's disgusting. So write letters to the MPs, end that working holiday visa for genociders coming here. Send emails to MPs. The PSNA newsletter have a couple of suggestions on letters you can write. Crazy Watermelon Lady, she's doing a great piece of work. So buy the watermelons, plant and grow. The next main PSNA target of BDS is SodaStream. They were forced to sell Obella because nobody wanted to buy products that supported Israeli genocide, that helped pay for the bombs that are dropped to slaughter Palestinian children. Remember the general BDS apps, right? We have a target of SodaStream, but you can get the Boycat app, the No Thanks app, the Halal Kiwi app, if you want to see in broad sense what you can actually look at boycotting. Israel is bleeding. Israel only survives by grifting off the United States, by putting their hands in Americans' pockets and rocket wallets and pulling out cash to carry on their genocide. Their companies are tanking a lot of the Israelis, young soldiers. It's absolutely horrible. The suicide rates by young Israeli soldiers are forced into the military, who are committing suicide in record numbers. They can't stomach the fact that they're sent to kill women and children. So other things we're doing this evening, talk to Anna. We'll be doing some leafleting at Christmas in the Park. So meet at 5:30 p.m. and the meeting is outside the Auckland Domain's big gates on Park Road, on the footpath below the Greek statue on the left side of the road into the Domain. So we'll be handing out some Christmas cards and letting people know a bit more information. 5:30 in the main gates on Park Road, and look out for Anna, and we'll be sending people around in pairs to actually give out Christmas cards. This coming Monday is Kion Communication, so Monday the 16th, 5:45 at the Western Springs Garden Community Centre. As a pre-Christmas thing, so bring a plate, and we will be discussing planning into the new year. Next Wednesday, we'll be on Queen Street at the US Consulate on Queen Street, picketing the consulate for their support of Israeli genocide and handing out a lot of leaflets to people passing. We get thousands of people who will actually walk across the footpath to take a leaflet. So come and join us. It's actually quite reaffirming. So next week's rally is going to be a come and have your say. We're going to get comments from people have a think about what you might want to talk about, 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll run maybe 10 people, how you feel about what's happening, what the government should be doing. We're going to share the microphone with us, with our whānau. So let Anna know at the table here so that we can plan that, and we'll be doing that. We have a question on ongoing rallies. There is a proposal that we drop the rallies from once a week to once a month. Last week when I asked here, there was an overwhelming vote to carry on. Each time, patience, each time we discuss this within the planning session, we have chosen to carry on with weekly rallies, even though the proposal has been put in again and again and again. The planning committee have agreed that we want to carry on with weekly rallies. So what I'll ask again here, do we want to carry on weekly or stay monthly? Weekly? Okay. The vast majority of people, once again, confirm that we will come here. We know it's hard work for some people. Some people come from a fair distance away. The thing we say is this is voluntary. Come 1 week, come every 2 weeks, come every 3 weeks, come once a month. Everybody is welcome. But we will be here every week through the rest of December, through January, until the Israeli genocide in Gaza is stopped. So I'll take that back to the planning committee and I'll feed that feedback, which is what I got from a straw poll I did. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Neil. I just want to pay homage to the Palestinian youth, as Neil said, that they will not give up, they will not die. Remember, the reflections on South Africa, the end of apartheid started on 6th of June 1976 with the youth, Sharpeville Day. And of course we know Hakahana from the Te Pati Maori Party, when she spoke, we are the Kohangario generation. So we pay homage to your youth. Viva the youth! Well, we've come to the end. We've come to the end. We just want to thank everyone who has attended. We want to thank our speakers. We want to thank our volunteers who put everything together, because nothing happens without some mahi.